Alright, so it's been 24 hours since I introduced my containers to high humidity, and this cluster right here is really taking off. And I'm also seeing another small cluster forming right here on the side. This container is looking great. The bag right now isn't really doing anything since I introduced it to the high humidity, and that's fine. Just gonna leave it in here and let it keep going. But yeah, we're gonna keep a close eye on it, make sure that the humidity in this tent stays around 80 to 85. It'd be great. I've been running the timer a lot more frequently to keep it from getting too high down here, because this time of the year it just stays a little more humid in the tent, so I have to run the timer for my fan right here a lot more frequently. I'm running it right now about every 3 minutes for 60 seconds to suck the air. It's good. It's giving it a lot of nice airflow in here, and the humidity's staying where I want it. Looking good. That's how we grow mushrooms. I was checking out the mason jar, and right, see, there might be a little bit of pins starting to happen here. So I think I'm just gonna put the mason jar in and see what it wants to do. We always try to give our containers lots of space when it's in the tent, so they don't crowd themselves and overheat themselves. They give off a little bit of heat. The other bags that I made, I'm not seeing any pinning yet on them, so I'm just gonna keep them incubating out of the tent for now. Looks awesome. That mushroom right there, another 2 days, I'm gonna be eating that mushroom right there. Looking good. Hey guys, it's Lucas. I hope you've enjoyed my mushroom growing series until this point. In this video, we're going to get into the fruiting part of the mushrooms. All of my containers and bags are now in the grow tent, being introduced to high humidity, and I'm getting a lot of mushrooms fruiting, and they look awesome. Going to be picking mushrooms any day now. If you guys like these videos, make sure you hit subscribe on my channel. I don't just do mushrooms, I grow a lot of food in my garden. I do a lot of cooking as well. So just a heads up, my channel is not going to just be all about mushrooms. All right, let's check out this grow tent and see what's inside. All right, so you can see my one cluster right here is looking great. And within a day, it'll be ready for harvest. It's been 48 hours since I introduced this to high humidity, and it only took 2 weeks since the inoculation before it started pinning and was introduced into the tent. So far, 2 weeks and 2 days since I inoculated the straw with the mushroom spawn. And here we go, already got mushrooms in less than 3 weeks. The first bag that I put in the tent hasn't done anything, but I looked this morning, and this bag right here, pinning out of the zipper that I guess I didn't do tight enough, which is fine. These mushrooms are gonna find little holes to poke out of, and they're gonna grow out of whatever area they feel like growing out of. I've had them grow from underneath a cap before. They don't need a lot of space to start growing. It's so amazing. The mason jar, I'm starting to see some pinning underneath here where the holes are, and I expect to see mushrooms popping out of this mason jar by tomorrow. I'll update you guys on that as well. So we're just going to close up this tent, keep letting that humidity go. We want to make sure it stays around that 80% humidity in here, which can be difficult with my setup because I have to refill my humidifier at least once a day. So I gotta keep an eye on that. When it's in this stage of pinning it's important to make sure that the humidity doesn't drop down too low, because then the mushrooms will abort. Alright guys, hope you found that helpful. We'll check in tomorrow when I'm ready to harvest this cluster right here and show you what else is growing. Alright guys, so I just opened up the tent to show you the progress and the third day since I introduced my first container to my mushroom tent with the high humidity, and this cluster is beautiful and ready to pick. You want to pick your mushroom clusters before the caps flatten out, and what a beautiful specimen. This guy over here is going to keep growing. Going to be another day or two before I pick this one. My mason jar is starting to pin on the top. These guys, in 2 days, they should be big enough to pick as well. And down here, these guys started fruiting out of the part of the Ziplock bag that I guess I didn't close all the way, which is fine. It can fruit wherever it wants. Looks good. I'm gonna give these another day and they'll be ready to pick tomorrow. When we harvest our mushrooms, just want to grab it by the base, give it a little twist, and it pops right off. So beautiful. All right, mushroom growers, got another quick update for you on my fruiting process. And I'm liking what I see here. I harvested yesterday a nice cluster from this container right here. And this cluster looks a little bit funky, but still good enough to eat. And we're gonna harvest this one today. This one was put in the tent at the same time as this on Monday, and it's now Friday, 4 days later. And we're starting to get some pinning coming out, looking good. Those mushrooms should be ready to eat in about 2 days from today. The mason jar is looking great. These mushrooms will probably be ready to pick by tomorrow. Down here, this bag, such a fun looking cluster coming out of where the Ziplock wasn't fully zipped, and they look great. We're gonna pick this right now as well. Also seeing some pinning coming out of this bag right here in the back. Things are looking great in the tent, guys. Oop. Let's pick that off right now, actually. All right. Some more beautiful mushrooms to cook up for me and my family. Things are looking great in the tent right now, guys, and you could do this too. Just follow my easy process. I have 3 videos available for you guys that'll walk you through start to finish with the inoculation process, the spawn run, and the fruiting and harvesting. All right, guys, I wanted to give you one last update from the grow tent. My mason jar is looking great. Ready to pick these right now. Also got another nice cluster forming on one of the Ziplock bags up above. That'll be ready to go. I could pick it today or maybe let it go till tomorrow. And this cluster as well. I'll let this go until tomorrow. Now, after you pick your mushrooms from your containers, they're probably going to want to rest. My mushroom growing teacher, he used to tell me that it's like having a baby. They put all their energy into fruiting, and then they're going to need a little time to rest before they give it another go. So we'll just leave them in the tent, keep the humidity steady at 80%, and within a week or two, you'll start to see some more pinning and some more clusters popping up. and I usually leave them in the tent for like a month. I've even left them up to 2 months, but you're better off just making some new fresh ones at that point. And then you just want to rotate them out. Take the old bags and compost them, or even throw them in a big pile of straw in the backyard and see what happens. That's always something fun to try to do. I've had more mushrooms grow off these when I throw them outside. About to start another batch, get the process going again, and always have some fresh bags in the tent providing me some awesome mushrooms. When storing my mushrooms, I like to store them in a container like this, and I just loosely cover it with a little bit of aluminum foil, and I put some holes in it so it can get a little bit of airflow. You don't want to store these in an airtight container because the mushrooms need to breathe. Alright guys, well, I'm about to close up the tent so the humidity can get back to where I need it to be so the rest of these mushrooms can keep growing. I hope you enjoyed my 3-part series on how to grow in recycled containers, blue oyster mushrooms on straw. I walk you through the inoculation, the incubation, and then the fruiting process. And I'll leave links to all the videos below in the description so you can check them out. And I leave links to all of the components of my grow tent, all of the products that I use to grow my mushrooms. If you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'd love to hear from you guys. If you like these videos and you want to see me grow more food, whether it's in my basement grow room, my garden out in the backyard, and how I like to prepare this food, subscribe to my channel. Alright guys, have a great day and stay healthy.